All right. Now tell us, what did the prophetess do?
Okay, so I'll try to be brief. So it's a situation whereby it was a family. They were living together, married as a couple with children. But then the issue is that the husband, we are told that he used to drink a lot of beer. From the time he retired, he was a banker. So he used to drink a lot of alcohol most of the times, but he would go and work somewhere. He had a spot where he used to go and work. So now, um, the wife, I don't know, from nowhere, the wife just made it look like the man just rebelled against his family and disappeared. So each time the family members to the man go there to visit, I want to see our uncle, where is he? The wife would say, no, he's not around. He's not around. But the neighbor would see him once a while. So until it reached to a point whereby the neighbors also stopped seeing him. It's like he started complaining, no, his health is not okay, he's not okay. We don't know what the problem was. So from that time, then every time the brothers to the man come, the wife and the children say, no, he's not feeling well, you can't see him, or he's not around. So they will keep quiet until the neighbors also saw him disappearing. He's no longer seen. They would ask, where is this man? So, but then something was happening. There was one prophet, they call that person a prophet, would come to the house for prayers. So the prayers intensified while the man was disappearing. So that one person only, and the woman, we were told that she was very unfriendly. Like she never used to interact with a lot of neighbors. She was just this lonely person, but very prayerful. Like it was more like a ministry. She was running a ministry. So the period became too long, from a year until a year plus. The man is not seen. Now I don't understand how the relatives to the man also tolerated it, to a point that your relative is out, you don't see them, and you don't endeavor to fight and say, where is our relative? We don't know what happened there. So finally, fast forward to what happened now recently this week. It's a story of the brother to the man who we're talking about. The brother one day just woke up and said, no, he sent his son and said, go there as early as possible, because they were told that every time they go there, they will say, no, he has left for work. So he sent his son to go there and check. He said, go there as early as 5:05. You go there and don't leave the house until they tell you where my brother is. So the man is quite old, but the son is quite young. So the son also obeyed the father. He was there from 5, 6. The man is not coming out. Okay, open the door. They refused to open. That day, they didn't even come out. So he called the father. He said, these people are not allowing me to go in the house because I'm their relative. They can't even allow me to enter the house or to see my uncle. So what do I do? Then the father says, just go to the police. That was like after 3 hours of waiting, go to the police. Then that's how the young man went to the police, and the police heard the story. They said, okay, it's worth listening to, but then we can't go and storm the house. So you give us time, we go to the court and get a court order, something like a search warrant, because it's a private residence. According to the Zambian laws, you can't storm into someone's house, even if you're a police officer. So that's how the police officers arranged a search warrant, and they went there in the afternoon, late afternoon, and they reached at the door. Can you open? We are here to see you. They refused, despite saying that these are police officers. They produced their IDs. So that's how they surrounded the house, went behind, and some they stood on the gate, on the door. They tried to beg them open. They refused. So that's how they barged into the house. They used force. So when they entered inside, they searched. They didn't find anything. So, but there was one room which was locked. Can you open this room? They refused. Again, the police used force to open that room. So when they opened that room, that's when they found the man. They found the skeletons. They were facing up, like someone is lying on the bed facing upside. But then there were just bones, no smell, no nothing. So now it's a mystery. We don't know if they are using chemicals to keep his body. We don't know what happened to the body parts, the skin. but the bones are there. There's a video. It's all over on Zambian media platforms. I think it was released today. Yeah, I think that one was captured by the officers when they entered inside there. They found the skeleton just facing up with nothing else to really show for. So that's how they collected the skeleton and took it to the police. But then the gist is that there was the same guy I told you about who used to go there for prayers. He's the one who we are told the man yesterday at the burial. He said the wife has now said that she was being told to keep that man in the house for whatever, for prayers, for growth. It's kind of like a ritual stuff, you know. So that's why I was commenting you, like, so it looks like maybe they were washing the body. I don't know which, if how they managed to, if they killed him or he died out of the sickness and they didn't want to publish it. They decided to use his body for for the growth of the ministry. If they were washing, because the man said the bones were very clean, you know. On as to how they kept the smell, for the neighbors not know, maybe we will know because the police are yet to issue a statement. But I personally, I think, I suspect like they were using the body. They would wash, get that water, and when it's the day for a service, because they were running a ministry, it was just coming up. That's the water which those who believe so much in I receive. That's the water that they were being given. If it's buying, you buy. You know, it's so sad. So basically, that's the gist of the story. That's what happened. So we
Okay.
buried. He was buried, I think, a day ago, or is it yesterday? Yeah.
Okay. So from the speculations at the moment,
Mm.
are people convinced that this man died in the house and his body decomposed in the house? Or is there a possibility that the prophetess took the man somewhere, convinced the man to go for any consultation with the spiritual father, and the man was sacrificed there, and the prophetess only came back to the house with the bones? Because if we are to say the man actually died in that house, I don't know what type of chemicals the prophetess could have afforded to prevent that body from stinking, to prevent neighbors from picking up that odor from the decomposing body. And the other element is, what happened to the organs? What happened to the flesh? What happened to the internal organs of this brother? If this actually happened in that compound, I don't know how strong the chemicals can be to prevent the odor from spreading, within the vicinity or a specific radius of that compound. What's your take on that?
My suspicion as well is that I think he was told let's go for prayer somewhere, and he was taken away. His life was taken away there. Because I say so because for the children to be comfortable, because there was a tenant who was living in a certain room. That tenant was removed. He was just given a vacation order, leave the room, because the house is one. So there's a door behind. Leave the house to create more space. So I suspect the man was taken somewhere, and when he was taken there, um, that's where he died from. And then, because for the children to accept that their father is no more, I think it was a skeleton that was brought in the house, and to them it just looked like, I think it's not him, you know. I'm sure maybe they were told your father has disappeared, he has left us, he has abandoned his family. But for this skeleton you are seeing here, I think it's for whatever she convinced them for. This is ministry, it's for growth. Because normally, as a child, if you see your father, you can't watch your father dying in the next room and you don't tell anyone. I don't think so. Even if it's charms that she used on the children, I don't believe it. I buy your thought that the man who died somewhere else, they just brought in a skeleton. But I'm happy that a lot of Zambians, their eyes are opening, honestly. Not all men of God are true men of God. we are living in a world where people are using the so-called ministry to earn a living, to survive, and for whatever other means. It has become like it's a normal thing. People no longer fear. They will do whatever it takes. As for the body parts, God knows. But we'll hear the story. Keep your ears to the ground because the Zambia police have not released any report yet. But a report will soon come out. I think they are still interviewing. It's a big story, which I believe it will not just be the police spokesperson. I suspect it could even be the Minister of Home Affairs who narrate the entire story of what happened. Today, like I said, the video was released of the true skeleton. It's there on Zambian media platforms. But for the story, as it unfolds, I think someone very senior in the um, Ministry of Home Affairs will release the entire episode of what happened from the time when the man died. Is it a year ago or 2 years ago, or what happened? I think we'll hear the story very soon.
But the burial, though, was it not too early? What was the hurry? What was the fuss? Why did they bury the remains so early like that? Couldn't they wait for the investigation to be complete and then proceed to burial?
Uh, I wonder as well, but like this time around in Zambia, these funerals that are held in compounds is a burden for the family. You find there are a lot of people, and those people they will come there whether you like it or not, they will come, and you have to feed them. Like in these compounds, it's not in a well developed compound. In these compounds where we live, you find people come in the evening, in the afternoon, and you not watch them, and I think it's a burden for these average families. You got a burden to feed people, to do what. So I think maybe the family, the few family members who are there, they just said, okay, he has already died. But a postmortem was done, by the way. A postmortem was done, and the report is not yet out. The government did a postmortem. The family allowed that a postmortem be done. So on the government side, for the sake of investigations, it's just a postmortem which was needed, and it was done on the same skeleton to ascertain what killed the person, and it will be out. That's why I'm saying someone senior in government will come out. There will be a press conference, I believe so, which will give the whole scenario after they interview all of them. Once they interview both the mother and the three other daughters, who are even here, they've been put in different police cells so that they can each speak what they know, as well as some neighbors. They are being summoned, or those that are close, to give an account. So I think that's why they buried it, because the postmortem was done, and then the family said, "Okay, government, have you gotten the evidence you needed?" Yes. I think let's bury. There's nothing to wait for. I think that's my view.
And what are the chances that the skeleton that was found there is not of the brother or of the husband? It could be someone else, and the actual body of the husband is also someone somewhere else.
Uh,
So
you
that can
never
only
know.
be determined after the results, right? After the DNA.
Yes, after the DNA is done. Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah,
So
what's
for now, we
happening in
can't tell.
Zambia? What's happening in Zambia is shocking. Zambia has made history, and are these kids also involved in this, or how did they know that? According to what you heard, of course, was there any speculations around people talking about the kids being aware of what was happening in the other room?
Yes, yes, they were, because they were. If the mother is not around, it's the kids who chase people out. If you go to
Ah,
see the,
so the
yeah,
kids
if
were
you go
also
to,
in on this thing, on this scheme.
yes, even the day when the police went, the kids were fighting with the mother, because it's just the mother and the kids. They stood on the door, pushing the door. The police are pushing the door inside them. They are pushing the door to close.
How old are the kids?
You should check the photos. They're quite old. I think above 18. Above 18.
Huh?
Yeah. So when you go there, they're the ones who say no. They're no, and mostly the neighbors. testified that these people never used to come out of the house mostly. They're always inside, and they would pray very loud, like neighbors would hear, "Ah, wow, here lives Amai Bishop, Amai Busa. In Zambia, they call them Amai Busa, meaning woman of God,
Yeah, you
Mama
see, that's
Jew.
the spirit of prayer warriors. That's the spirit
Mm.
of prayer warriors
Yes.
and these intercessors. They think they're actually, the thing is, if they were really committed to these religious prayers, maybe they actually
Mm.
thought they are doing this for God.
Yeah.
You know, Zambians, when it comes to
Yes.
things of God that they don't understand, they
Not
fall
all
for
Zambians.
everything. Yeah?
Not all Zambians.
Of course, not all Zambians. There are a few that are
But quite
enlightened.
a number.
But the majority of Zambians and Zimbabweans, my brother, we can try to defend
Mm.
these nations, but the way they love
Mm.
witchcraft is on another level.
Mm.
That's why you see buses to Kakandi are always full. Buses to TP Joshua are always full. They don't really have the love for Christ. They have the love for miracles, spiritual materials, holy waters, anointing oils, and prophecies. But I
Mm.
hope this is an eye opener to all those who love
Indeed.
miracles.
Indeed. It's a big one actually. In compounds you move around, that's the breaking story, and people hear people saying, me, especially this issue of anointing water. In compounds, mostly where I stay here, many people say, no, me anointing water again, never, never, never.
Yeah.
It's an eye opener.
Yeah, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. A lot is happening behind the scenes. If this
Yeah,
small prophetess can do this, what about the big ones?
the big fishes.
The big fishes are doing better. They are doing
Mm,
it on a
mm.
much larger scale.
Especially, and I noticed that these we need to be careful. These people who are building churches, who knows what they bury under before they build these churches. It's so sad. We need to be careful.
My
The,
brother,
the the
thank you.
damage is huge. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
for your
much, sir.
testimony, my brother. We appreciate for the story. Just keep us
Thank you, boss.
updated as new developments come up.
No problem. I will definitely do so.